Do you know what the word desert means? It's basically a place that's abandoned and doesn't get a lot of rainfall. These areas often receive less than 10 inches of rain per year and have dry soil, little to no surface water, and rapid evaporation. Sometimes it's so dry that rain evaporates before it even hits the ground. Some deserts can even be freezing cold with ice or snow, while others are scorching hot. Deadly oasis in the Sahara Desert. This oasis is located in the Sahara Desert, spreading in southwestern Libya. The water found in the oasis is extremely salty as the water consistently evaporates and the concentration of the minerals in the water becomes higher. It's also covered with numerous insects. The water here can prove to be an instant poison for some. Birds migrate from Nigeria to Europe, rehydrate and refuel by eating these insects. These insects can purify the water naturally. Therefore, water in this oasis is approximately 5 times saltier than the sea. Eagle Mountain Ghost Town. Moving on to Eagle Mountain Ghost Town, we stumble upon a little town that shouldn't even be there. We haven't even delved into the details of our list yet, but we can confidently say that if you venture into the desert with any preconceived notions, you'll be in for a surprise. Walking through the desert, you come to the realization that you can never truly be prepared for what's to come. Just when you think you know what to expect, the desert throws a curveball at you, like stumbling upon a little town that shouldn't even exist. It's like a mirage, but it's real, and it's pretty unbelievable to be sitting out there in the middle of nowhere. That's where Eagle Mountain Ghost Town comes in. If you're familiar with our love for ghost towns, then you'll know that this one is a gem. It used to be a renewable energy site located 13 miles north of Desert Center in California, but now it's just fenced off. The only visitors to this desolate place are small security staff who watch over it. There's only one building that's still in use in Eagle Mountain, and it's the Eagle Mountain School located just outside the fenced area. It provides education for the local children, and it's a stark reminder that this ghost town was once a real community. It may look like something out of Breaking Bad, but unfortunately for the people who still live there, it's all too real. So if you ever find yourself in the desert, keep an eye out for unexpected surprises like Eagle Mountain Ghost Town. It's a testament to the fact that even in the harshest of environments, life still finds a way to thrive. Secret pool found in desert. If you ever got stuck in the Mojave Desert, the last thing you'd want is a pool, but it wouldn't be a bad idea in temperatures reaching 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the brainchild of Austrian visual artist Alfredo Bassoglia, who built this social pool out in the middle of the Mojave. Though it's not a public pool and you can't just show up demanding a dip. It's actually hidden well and kept locked. The keys are kept in the MAK Center for Art and Architecture, and from there you can also get the GPS coordinates of the pool. There are only 4 copies of the keys available, and you can acquire one set for 24 hours only. Even that won't be worth it, as it's quite small, measuring only 11 by 5 feet. Mysterious etchings. We all know what to expect from the desert: heat, sand, and maybe a cactus or two. But what about mysterious etchings? That's right, folks. Some explorers have stumbled upon what appears to be hieroglyphic-like symbols etched into the ground. These particular etchings were discovered in Oregon's Alvord Desert and have had people scratching their heads for years. Some speculate that it took a team of men with high-tech equipment and lasers to create the symbols, while others believe that extraterrestrial beings were behind it all. But now, a man by the name of Bill Witherspoon has come forward, claiming that he and his friends, along with his 10-year-old son, created the symbols themselves. The question on everyone's mind is he telling the truth, or is this just a hoax for his own personal gain? If Witherspoon's claim is legitimate, then the mystery is solved. But if he's lying, we're still left wondering about the true origins of these enigmatic etchings. So the next time you find yourself in the desert, keep your eyes peeled. You never know what secrets may be hiding beneath the sand. River is reborn. After a prolonged drought, Zin River returned to life as the water resurfaced as a result of heavy rains. It happened in the mountains of the Negev Desert, Israel. The footage was taken in 2014. The dramatic moment was captured when the first water wave started to gush through a 120 kilometers long riverbed. Dozens of spectators waited to witness this amazing scene. The water falls into a canyon. The river extends from the Ramon crater to the Sodom Plain and then into the southern end of the Dead Sea. Mauritania Railway. Mauritania has a 437-mile-long railway line which connects the iron mining centre of Zororata with the port of Nouadhibou. Trains transport 17,000 tons of iron ore in several dozen open wagons pulled by 3 to 4 locomotives. The train stretched up to 1.9 miles in length, which makes it one of the longest and heaviest trains in the world. People travelling in these trains have to sleep on iron ore. The train operates in the harshest environments, and its journey takes 20 hours going and 15 hours for the return journey. Crashed UFOs. Are you itching to uncover the secrets of the enigmatic UFOs? Well, hold on to your hats because we've got a thrilling tale for you. Our journey takes us to the vast and barren Arizona desert where whispers of a possible UFO crash have been spreading like wildfire. Could this be the moment we've all been waiting for? Is this the evidence that finally proves the existence of extraterrestrial life? We can't say for certain, but the mere thought of a crashed UFO has our minds racing with possibilities. There's no denying that the prospect of an alien craft crashing into our planet is enough to ignite a passionate discussion. So buckle up and get ready to delve into this captivating story as we explore where it may take us. Giant mystery arrows. Crop circles may be a popular mystery, but let's face it, they're not as thrilling as they used to be. There are so many of them and we never really get a satisfactory answer as to how they got there. Fortunately, there are some other enigmatic phenomena that still manage to capture our attention. Take the giant mystery arrows, for instance. These behemoths span 70 feet each and are scattered throughout the United States. But what are they for, you ask? Well, they were originally used by the US Postal Service to guide pilots during a cross-country airmail service in the early 1900s. Pretty cool, right? Next time you're flying over America, keep an eye out for these arrow-shaped landmarks. Underground town. Coober Pedy is a small desert town located in Australia where the whole population resides in underground homes. It's located in the middle of Australia's opal mining industry, about 526 miles north of Adelaide on Stewart Highway. Here, outside temperatures remain around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, therefore the residents opted to reside underground in cooler temperatures of these disused mine shafts. The house is a standard 3-bedroom cave home with a lounge, kitchen and bathroom. These houses have been dug inside a rock and cost almost equal to building houses over the ground. As per the 2016 Australian census, there are about 1,762 people residing here. The abandoned domes of Casa Grande. Another epic find from the desert of Arizona are these strange domes located just outside Casa Grande. These UFO-style structures have been linked to aliens and magic, but in reality these were built by Intercom Technology in 1983 as offices and manufacturing plants. Since the company defaulted on a bank loan, the construction was never finished and they remain abandoned even today. Made of concrete and foam, these domes morph sounds into creepy noises that scare the visitors. Many urban legends are associated with these domes, including people hearing voices and tapping noises, and even the sighting of a mysterious, scary man. Found in the Mojave Desert, phone booth. This iconic phone booth is located in the middle of the Mojave Desert. It was placed here because of the government mandate that was put in place to ensure service to every small town. It was built in 1948 and provided the local cinder miners with phone service. Turns out that a curious man named Godfrey Daniels started calling the booth, and to his surprise one day it was picked up and he realized it was working. He then went to this booth and made a call from there. Soon after, he set up a website about it, and people started visiting to see it and make a phone call from this unique booth. This booth was, however, removed a year after the mine was shut down. Video game stash. Urban legend states that Atari dumped a huge collection of unwanted video games in the desert. One of those games was E.T., the video game. In 1983, with the plummeting sales and loss of consumer interest, Atari was left with a massive amount of unwanted video games. Therefore, they decided to bury truckloads of this stock in the ground of Alamogordo, New Mexico. This was covered by New York Times, but was never confirmed by the company. A lot of employees also called it a rumor. This is what gave birth to the legend. Since Atari was extremely popular among gamers, they wanted to find out the truth. In order to do that, the dump site was dug up for a documentary. Fans attended to witness this and were overjoyed to see the video game packages and cartridges coming out of the earth. And among these, they also found E.T. the Extraterrestrial Game, also considered one of the worst video games of human history. Fairy circles in the Namib Desert. This mysterious formation has kept scientists confused for years on end. Fairy circles are actually weird bare spots present in the desert and are surrounded by vegetation. But surprisingly, nothing grows within these circles. The lack of a proper scientific explanation for these circles has paved way for many far-fetched theories, like alien landings or footprints of ancient gods. Local legend says that these burned patches were formed by a dragon who breathed fire down on the land. Some scientists, however, think these circles were created by sand termites, which devour the vegetation surrounding their nests, while others think that plants competing for water are responsible for this formation. Ice filled with life. Ice is not supposed to grow in the desert, but under the right circumstances like high altitudes and extremely dry land, fields of jagged ice spring up in the deserts all over the world. Called penitentes, they look like upright blades that often grow as tall as a person. In 2019, samples were removed from an ice field in Chile's Atacama Desert. Some of the samples contained red patches. This was a stunning moment. In other parts of the world, red ice points to the presence of living microbes. This was something that had never been found inside penitentes before. After a few tests, the microbes were identified as snow algae. They were related to a species of algae that flourish inside alpine and polar ice. But how the organisms got inside the ice blades standing in the middle of the desert is still a mystery. Endless song. Somewhere in an isolated desert location on the southern coast of Africa, a certain Toto song is playing to the vast emptiness. Over and over and over again. In 1982, the band Toto produced their hit Africa. Almost 40 years later, somebody decided that the song should play in the desert forever. A German artist has set up a musical oasis in a secret spot in the Namib Desert with the song Africa repeating on an endless loop. The installation has a solar-powered MP3 player playing the iconic song on a loop through 6 speakers on white pedestals. It looks like this. The artist never protected the installation from the harsh desert environment apart from using durable equipment. Sidentop himself admitted that the desert would probably strangle the song sooner rather than later. Mysterious Egyptian structure. From ancient cheese to mysterious etchings, the desert is like a hot flea market full of bizarre and off-the-wall finds. And speaking of bizarre finds, let's talk about a mysterious structure in the Egyptian desert that's got UFO hunters buzzing. This peculiar structure, which has yet to be identified, has sparked endless speculation and debate among enthusiasts after it was spotted on Google Earth. No one knows for sure what it is or what purpose it serves, but some say it could be a missile launch or a nuclear bunker. Despite the endless theories, no one has been able to prove anything yet, but the evidence is sure to come out soon. And let's hope it's not aliens. The most isolated tree. The Tenere wastelands of northeastern Niger were once populated by a forest of trees. By the 20th century, desertification had wiped out all but one solitary acacia. The tree of Tenere, as it came to be called, had no companions for 400 kilometers in every direction. Its roots reached nearly 40 meters deep into the sand. The tree had become a sacred object among the nomadic Tuareg people that would pass by it on their journeys, never using it for firewood or allowing their camels to graze on it. As more desert explorers came across the shockingly hardy plant, it became quite well known and was even included as a landmark on European military maps of the otherwise desolate expanse during the 1930s. It died in 1973. The way the tree was killed infuriated many people. A drunk driver had been following an old caravan route when he ploughed into the tree of Tenere. The trunk of the tree is now displayed at the Niger National Museum. By way of remembrance, a metal monument was placed at the spot where the acacia had once stood. Plane wreck. The desert is not just a barren wasteland, but a place full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered, and one of those mysteries is a plane wreck. Imagine stumbling upon the remains of a missing plane while exploring the vast expanse of the desert. It's not a fantasy, it's a reality. After years of speculation, the desert war kitty hawk was discovered sitting in the middle of the desert, almost perfectly preserved. Jacob Perker even snapped a photo of it, although skeptics thought it was fake at first. But it's all true. The elevators and rudders of the plane are still intact. Can you believe it? This is the kind of discovery that gets the heart racing and the mind reeling. So let's dive into this incredible story and uncover the secrets of the Desert War Kitty Hawk. Skyscrapers in the desert. You might think that skyscrapers are the last thing you'd expect to find in a desert, but think again. Prepare to be amazed by the old walled city of Shabam, which boasts some of the most impressive vertical architecture you'll ever see. This desert city dates back to the 16th century and is surrounded by a fortified wall, giving it an almost medieval feel. But don't let that fool you, because the city's urban plan is anything but old-fashioned. The principle of vertical construction has been expertly applied here, resulting in awe-inspiring skyscrapers that rise out of the cliff face. And if that wasn't enough to pique your curiosity, the city has even earned the nickname the Manhattan of the Desert due to its towering structures. So get ready to be transported to a world where Starbucks doesn't exist and skyscrapers reign supreme. Fish River. Speaking of deserts, have you heard about the Fish River? There's this video that captured something really shocking that happened in the desert. Normally, a river would have aquatic creatures living in it, right? Well, in this video, a shoal of fish is actually leading the water flow of the river. It's like the river is following the fish instead of the other way around. It's a really weird sight that'll make you scratch your head in confusion. Since rain is so rare in deserts, the people who live there usually rely on groundwater, spring-fed lakes or oases for fresh water. It's really rare to find a river in a desert, let alone one with a shoal of fish leading it. It's just one of those jaw-dropping natural phenomena that leave everyone astonished. Nature really has a lot of surprises up its sleeve, don't you think? Yabba Dabba Doo. You must remember the Flintstones from Cartoon Network. Turns out their residence has been made into an actual attraction in the bedrock city of Arizona Desert. An entire theme park has been dedicated to the 70s cartoon. It was opened in 1972 and attracted lots of visitors who wanted to experience their favorite cartoons and their lives for real. There were rides, hair salons, theater cars, and more to enjoy, though the city declined fast as the cartoon became older and people lost interest. Sadly, it shut down in 2019. Slab City. Camp Dunlap was a training base for Marines that was shut down after World War II. Squatters soon moved in and raised shacks on the concrete slabs of the base, which also had a grid of streets. In no time, Slab City was born. Located in California's Colorado Desert, the inhabitants often portray themselves as the last free people in America. If freedom is based on taxes, then that may well be true. The taxman is not particularly interested in Slab City. Other inhabitants include survivalists and adventurers, but those who arrive by choice are only half of the story. Many families lose everything and have nowhere else to go except a squatter camp in the desert. Life is not easy. There's no running water, plumbing, or hospitals. Did someone steal your wallet? Tough beans. The Slab City Police Department does not exist. Slab City does not officially exist either. Jumping Cholla. We've talked about cacti a lot on this list, but there's one type of cactus that's worth mentioning because it's unlike any other. Meet the cholla cactus, a species of cactus that shoots needles. You definitely want to watch out for these bad boys unless you want to get pricked with a needle. The cholla cactus thrives in the locales and elevations of the hot southwestern deserts and can even be found in high elevation forests or on rocky steep slopes of the foothills. To survive, they need coarse, well-drained soil and can grow as tall as 12 inches. But it's the shooting needles that get people talking. Even the slightest touch can leave these little needles in your clothes. Colorful flowers in the Atacama Desert. The Atacama Desert is located in northern Chile and is considered to be the driest desert in the world. Finding a scenic view in the middle of a barren desert is quite puzzling. These blooming flowers can only be seen here after heavy rainfall and their incidence is quite rare. Here, average rainfall is just 15 millimeters per year, and some parts never get a share of rainfall. When the rainfall does occur, the desert explodes with thousands of blooming flowers. Buried seeds are germinated and flower when they receive rain, leading to the Deserto Florido phenomenon taking place every 5 to 7 years. The Mansion of Death Valley. Though it's more of a massive Spanish colonial revival villa than a castle, it's located in the desert of Death Valley National Park. Its construction began in 1992 and cost around $2.5 million. This was supposed to be the dream mansion of Walter Scott, who had convinced the Chicago millionaire Albert Mossy Johnson to invest in his gold mine in that very area. But it turned out that the mine was a fraud. and despite being enraged, Johnson struck up a friendship with Walter, and when he moved to his mansion, his health surprisingly improved. Soon after, Scott moved in and claimed he built it from the profits of his gold mine and named it Scotty's Castle. It's no secret now that Walter was a well-versed conman. Number 4. Area 6. Area 51 needs no introduction, but the base is not the only secretive zone in the Nevada desert. Meet Area 6, a smaller complex with hangars and a 1.6-kilometer or 1-mile-long landing strip. Airspace is restricted and the entire place is fenced off. About 19 kilometers or 12 miles separate Area 6 from Area 51, and the airstrip is used by both Homeland Security and the Department of Defense. Beyond that, the facts get hazy. When the departments were pressed for answers, an official spokesperson admitted to a short clue saying that they come here to test their own sensors. Investigators also found the license application of the contractor who had built the airstrip. The paperwork described the facility as a place where unmanned vehicles are created and tested. Based on that, some have suggested that Area 6 holds MQ-9 Reaper planes. These are drones that specialize in reconnaissance missions. Area 6 could be where new technology related to the planes are tested, and the surrounding landscape is also perfect for dry runs of actual missions. A ship filled with gold. In 1533, a ship called the Bom Jesus set sail from Portugal and vanished. Besides the loss of her entire crew, the ship also disappeared with a cargo of gold coins, which by today's standards was worth $12.5 million. Nearly 500 years later, in 2016, miners stumbled across the remains of the shipwreck. It was inside a dry lagoon in the Namibian desert. They alerted archaeologists who confirmed the identity of the vessel. After 6 days of excavations, the gold was recovered. Media outlets lost their minds over the precious coins, but the archaeologists, they were more excited about the human bones, clothing and pottery that were also discovered. Almost nothing is known about the daily lives of sailors who lived centuries ago. Since such artifacts can tell us more, they are, in an historical sense, more valuable than gold. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please let me know by clicking the like button. Do share, write a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch up my next video. An ancient plant. Based on carbon dating, Welwitschia is considered to be a plant species that is 1500 years old. Austrian botanist Friedrich Welwitschia discovered it for the first time in 1860 in the Namib Desert in the southern part of Angola. It is endemic to the area. It has a short, woody, unbranched stem which is surrounded by 2 strap-shaped leaves growing from a basal meristem throughout the lifespan of the plant. Over the centuries, it has become twisted and frayed. The plant was given its name in recognition of Friedrich's successful botanical research. 100,000-year-old Neanderthal remains. In 2021, a remarkable discovery was made while digging in Italy's Guattari cave about 100 kilometers southeast of Rome. Archaeologists came across remains of Neanderthals. The experts identified the skull fragments and broken jawbones which belonged to 7 adult males, 1 female and 1 young boy. They were not aware that at the same place a Neanderthal skull was discovered in 1939. Archaeologists believe that they had probably been killed by hyenas. Mysterious patterns in the Gobi Desert. This weird and complicated grid of white lines was caught by a satellite in April 2009, and it left quite a few people wondering what this mysterious pattern meant. It's definitely not natural. Are these the remains of walls from an ancient city or some kind of message for the aliens above? It seems like a design used to calibrate the spy satellite owned by China. There are buildings in the vicinity and even jets can be seen. Who knows what China is cooking up in the heart of the Gobi Desert? We sure would like to know. The 60-foot buried boat. Sand is often an underestimated force of nature. It has the power to consume massive objects and even towns, but it also bears the unique property of preservation. For instance, a massive 60-foot wooden boat was found perfectly preserved buried in the Sahara Desert. It was discovered in the ancient Egyptian necropolis Abusir. The cedar planks and the rib seams are clearly identifiable. According to the Czech archaeologists who discovered the boat, it's almost 4,500 years old. It seemed to be a funerary boat, but it was quite an expensive boat and no one knows why it was found in the grave of a common citizen. As boats this huge were reserved for the royals and may belong to the 3rd or 4th dynasty. Fossils found in Atacama Desert. This exceptional breakthrough in the world of marine science occurred in 2010 when the largest marine mammal fossil in the entire world was found in the Atacama Desert. Now, this was discovered quite close to the Pan American Highway, but was at least more than half a mile away from the ocean. 75 whale fossils were found scattered over an area of 240 meters, of which 25 were perfectly intact. These skeletons included baleen whales, sperm whales, and a walrus-like whale. There were also some skeletons of seals and aquatic sloths. Weirdly, all the fossils were facing in the same direction, and are believed by some to be 6 to 9 million years old. Scientists and paleontologists believe these animals died from toxins produced by algae. Atacama Desert fossils found. A significant discovery was made in the Atacama Desert of Chile when several fossils were found here. This video, recorded in November 2021, shows the remains of animals that were found while excavating. The jaw of a megalodon is probably the biggest and most important one of these fossils. Archaeologists are still trying to study these fossils to find clues as to how they reached the desert. The half-buried hand. The Atacama Desert in Chile is massive. It spans an area of around 105,000 square kilometers. It's one of the driest parts of the Earth, with periods of up to 4 years with no rainfall. But this couldn't stop an ingenious artist from leaving his mark here. This giant hand reaching towards the sky is installed in the Atacama Desert and is a wild contrast to the spirit of the desert itself. Created by Chilean sculptor Mario Irrazabal, it's called the Mano del Desierto. It's about 36 feet tall and was first unveiled in 1992. It's made completely out of iron and cement and is located just outside a town called Antofagasta. This isn't the only hand made by Mario. He has in fact installed many other giant hands in places including Madrid, Venice, and even on a beach in Uruguay. So a desert is not just sand and cacti. There are lots of plains, crop circles, pentagrams, and so much more than what we'd expect out there. And just when you thought you'd seen all types of cacti, there comes the cholla cactus. It's a reminder that the desert holds extraordinary finds that even we scratch our heads at. So the next time you're traversing the desert, keep an eye out for all the crazy things that are out there. We'll be here to report them all.